Alright, hi guys. This is an unusual rant that I'm gonna do, and it focuses on the navigators, but also one driver as well, who also tries to be taking a piss. And this one has to do with these two, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's because this role and these two, a slutty calorista, whatever, and Abdel, who is a vigilante griefer. I had a previous person who is a rank 700 who is also a vigilante griefer, and I want to address something. First, the navigators are supposed to help the driver to get the vans, even if they forget, right? But I don't even care if they are just abandoning, because if they're abandoning and they just think they can get it to themselves, they're not really helping the drivers do anything and just want them to be lazy for nothing. And that's just pretty much incompetence of laziness. And that's what the main role of navigators don't really seem to get the message. And first, I'm going to talk about this slut. First, the Clarissa, whatever. And this is where she thinks that she has an issue with the Kuruma. The Kuruma has a good pair of vision to photograph the license plate. Now see, first of all, she gets out of the car, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Aren't you taking the photograph of the license plate? You are in a correct seat, and now you're going to face a different angle, and you say you have issues. I mean, that is the worst, stupidest excuse I've ever seen that I've ever played GTA in 11 goddamn years of this fucking game. Even online, nobody has ever told me they have issues with a Kuruma inside the interior, that you have issues to go in and take the plate. I had to message her, like, you can take the photo right inside the plate, and I gave you enough viewing on the angle. Like, the left side is usually the easiest than the right. Inside the seat where she's at. And then this is what she replies: can't find an angle? That's a stupid ass excuse. Like, any other angle of seat, that she gave the first excuse for that. So I replied, go get another seat, go to the right seat. Simple, right? So this is what she does. She takes it on foot. And why don't you just go onto the right side of the seat instead of the left? I mean, there's two seats on the right. Why don't you take those? So she goes on the seat again, where she took the first time, and she points the directions as usual, which not most randoms really seem to be cooperative at that time, because I need to know where I'm going. If I know where the vans are. Well, at the first time, she was not actually cooperating. So I had to find the vans myself at that point, because I don't even know where they are. And this is what she says: can't find the angle, and she still knows how this works. But that is so no excuses whatsoever. I mean, if you're going over my Kuruma, and you say you have no angle, why are you even bothering? Why are you even been bothering using the role as navigator? Because the navigation system inside the car, inside the Kuruma, does perfectly fine. And you say that doesn't even work for you? I mean, who says that shit? That's just you making a stupid ass excuse. I mean, the Kuruma has good enough vision for it. Because if you're complaining that the Kuruma's vision from the upper wood, and you don't even know how to zoom in the camera, you obviously make stupid ass's excuses. And I'm going to talk about the griefing as soon as we get the 4 photos part. And as soon as the navigators don't do communication, especially the arrows, I want to talk about the arrows. Sometimes they're not really that sure, even when they're using the Trackify. I mean, the Trackify is a pretty simple thing, and especially with the arrows, it's just like when you do the racing, like the semi-rally racing, you know, like semi-racing, semi-rally, whatever. I mean, people have forgotten that since 2014. And what is going on with this world? I mean, what the fuck is going on with this world, honestly? It's very mind-boggling to me that people in Legacy Highs rage quit in this prep a lot more than people complain on the Humane labs on EMP, where you have to stealthily deliver the EMP insurgent inside the Merryweather garage without getting spotted. And with many alarms that beep, 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 people still carry on, right? But in the vans, people just rage quit in a minimum of 1 or 2 tries. And first, it's anti-grieving with the vigilante by destroying the correct van. When it comes to hijacking a van, and people hijack it. And see, and this is what she does. She wants me to go inside the Landstalker. No, it's actually a Grandeur, sorry. Because she wants me to go in a Grandeur so she can get a clear view of herself for self-indulgence. Like, it doesn't matter. Because look at the window here. You can clearly get a photo from the center of the window. I mean, she wants a full 100% clear of the window so you can actually photograph them. And this is why I have the biggest issue with her. And why doesn't that fucking make it complicated? And there's the biggest time wasting one as well. And I'm sorry if I'm tilting my camera too much. It's just pretty much making me angry. And I spent this prep now for 3 hours. And you see where I look at my camera right there? There's no issue whatsoever. But she finds it an issue. And she just fucking complains. She's been complaining in this setup than the other two have. Because these two were anti-griefing within a few minutes later. And look at that. Can't take photo in an armored car. What a fucking stupid ass excuse is that? A few can even do it. A few people can do that. And same with this guy as well. But he grieved me in a few minutes later. But we'll get to that soon enough. But we were running out of time anyway. Because we only had like 100 seconds before this would have been done. So we had to start again. So there was no point. There was no point carrying this on. And this is where we got into much of a feud. She decided to get out of the car, use an RPG, shoot my Kuruma, and we started again. And that's what we got into more into bitter end of bad. There is no cooperation on either of us. So she died too many times, and more than any of us. She was the only person who died in this scenario, and she's a rank like 514. She has the highest rank than all of us. And I had to go into the mic and preach and banter about her, and I had to veto to kick her for abusive language in the in-game text inside the game. So So she was pretty livid that I blocked her at that point. Even when I used a railgun to blow up her adder, which was funny. And she tried to blow my car about like 5 times, and it stupidly failed. She did it once, and she tried to do it the second time. Right. Yeah, there's her, oh no, that's not the adder. I don't remember what that car is. So I had to smash that car up. So there was no point. So my mood was definitely getting into angry mode. So I had the cops on me. So there was no point of carrying this on. So I thought, I thought I'd just wait for him. But he already knew I had cops. So what I decided to do, just get the cops away from me. Or if he just remained stationary, I just might as well like get him to move. And he did that, and there you go. That's where I call a cheap tryhard. A tryhard, which you rarely get female tryhards as rare ones in the PlayStation, but I'm sure on Xbox there's a high profile to that. But this is what I did. I reported her, but I forgot where the in-game speech one is, so what I did, just griefing or disruptive gameplay, so that's what I did. And I did the kick button, so I did it just as soon as she died. No, actually, it was one of the Batmobile idiots who alerted the driver. So yeah, I was actually lucky to actually do the reporting and all that. So this is where we finally got the what you call the post van part. So I just stood there all the way in that van, because that van was my lucky guess to get in there. And this is where I'm going to talk now about this part, the griefing in the van. It was 3 against 1 at this point. So I managed to get in that van. I had cops. These 3 were not even listening. I had cops. And that stupid idiot was pausing the game and to find out who I was, where I was going. So what they don't realize, that I had cops. So I had to lure the cops to them, and it's their own fault for making the stupid idiocy. So this is where I got the cops on them at this point. So I'm gonna put it all the way from this loop. And this guy who had the Batmobile just kept shooting my post-op van, and he was not really helping the situation at all, because he doesn't even know I have cops. And while this Calrisa or whatever, and I got the cops on her, so punishments don't fit the crime, and that's what she did. She got cops, and boom. So that's what you get, too fast, too furious. And these 3 waste time. And even if they destroy the van, you gotta start all over again. And she tried to get the van, but it was definitely stuck thanks to the vigilante griefer. So the heist griefing is highly the gravest offense than free mode griefing in GTA Online history. And that is why no one should be allowed to have a vigilante. And you see, the van is completely stuck. And you cannot even move it. So he technically destroyed the he technically destroyed the van as soon as Claricia tried to get in. So there you go. The van was destroyed by him. So she was getting very angry at this point, and she voted to kick me as soon as I voted to kick her. And just right at these several minutes, us three were playing around. Yeah, see, there you go. I kicked her and she voted to kick me. So at that point, he was too busy with me around the car. That's why she was pausing the game and voting to kick me. And we probably both did the same bit, reporting and kicking. And she was trying to get into this douchebag's car. And, you know, so I was trying to do the most agitating way possible. And these guys don't even know that I am actually good at this shit. Because no matter what he does, this map can make me go and do the heist all over again in a nanosecond. And this is where she throws sticky bombs. And I wasn't sure if it was actually right in there. But she was trying to get the cops on me because she already had cops on her. So the cops were aiming at her. So she was close to dying at this point. And yet she died. So there you go. So she got really angry at this point. As soon as I was angry, this guy was angry. But I wasn't sure about the Batmobile guy who was griefing in the van. So I think this is the one where she did Mattis was the one who rage quitted, so that prematurely ended the heist. And yeah, this Pacific Standard Vans is arguably now the worst, the worst now in the legacy heist in history of GTAO. And people who dislike Humane lab raid on the EMP, I understand that. But personally for me, it's Pacific Standard Van because there's no communication whatsoever, and there is no charisma of teams of randoms that can actually cooperate with you when it comes to, even when it comes to a higher rank, even when it comes to a lower rank. They don't even exactly obey you for no reason whatsoever. And I don't care if there's so many hates, and I don't care if there's so many, like, you don't have to get yourself to drive for the navigator to do whatever, but they need to be in a vehicle so they can easily take the photograph easier. And using your own vehicle against that does not let the driver do anything. And what is the point? Like, seriously. And this is for those who are in navigator role. Let the driver do something for you at least. And if you're not doing anything for the driver, you're just lazy, as you're just trying to do the mission for yourselves for no good reason.